just gonna. Right, so the Premier League season is over, and at the start of the season, I made my predictions for what I thought was going to happen in the season, and oh wow, some of them are absolutely awful. So let's just get into the predictions that I made at the start of the season. So, oh god, um, okay, so the first one for 20th place, Sheffield United. Sheffield United, I said, would prop up the league. That, like, and I couldn't have been more wrong. Okay, so Kieran in the chat, what's popping? Nothing much, mate. But Sheffield United, I said, were going to prop up the league. I mean, not only did they stay up, they finished ninth and were genuinely fighting for Europe, and they nearly finished above Arsenal. Arsenal, mate, do you know what I mean? I know Arsenal didn't have a great season, but still, I don't really think anyone predicted that. I mean, if anyone predicted that, then fair play to whoever did. But yeah, alright, Adam in the chat, alright. Yeah, I'm fine. But yeah, Sheffield United, they had a great season, and yeah, we've got these predictions off to a great start, haven't we? So 19th, I predicted Brighton, and they stayed up. Basically, my logic for this was Graham Potter had never managed in the Premier League before, and Brighton ended last season terribly. They went from the start of March to the middle of May. They didn't win a single game. So that was that was kind of my logic for that, because like their form at the end of the season was borderline relegation. So that was my logic there, and admittedly I was wrong, but then again I was wrong with most of these. Don't worry. 18th, I predicted Newcastle. Now, what was my thinking here? Well, they had Steve Bruce at the helm and Dwight Gale up front. Of course, I thought they were going to struggle this season. And, well, I predicted 18th. I was a bit wrong about them getting relegated, though. I mean, they only finished 13th and got a solid mid table finish, so. And, I mean, they even beat Man United this season, and Chelsea. So, they also, like, took points off Man City as well. So they got really good results this season, Newcastle. And yeah. Next up, 17th Crystal Palace. Now, this one, I don't even know. I don't even know what made me put them 17th. Like, I'm greatly confused, to be honest. Next up, in 16th place, I predicted would be, oh god. So 16th, I predicted would be Southampton. Now, there was a point in the season where I thought I'd put them a bit too high because they got slapped about 9-0 off Leicester City at the start of the season. And at that point, if you predicted them to get liquidated and relegated, then yeah, I wouldn't blame you. But no, if anything, that turned their season around for the better. And they had a comfortable mid-table finish. So, yeah, it's just another wrong score. I'm good at this. Yeah, 9-0. That was a genuine game that happened last year. Next up, 15th, Burnley. Again, this was just wrong. They finished 10th. I just thought because they didn't have a great season last year, that would kind of continue on into this year. And, well, that just didn't happen. So, just another wrong score. Next up, 14th was Norwich City. And Christ above that was wishful thinking. I mean, my logic for this, they got promoted from the Championship last season, right? They've done brilliant, right? I mean, Christ, they even beat Man City at the start of the season. So, how do you think I was feeling then when they beat Man City, they got a couple good results at the start of the season, and they looked like they were going to get a mid-table finish. No, they finished bottom of the league, so that I got that horribly wrong. So, oh god. Next up, 13th, I predicted Aston Villa. Well, basically, I just thought because they ended last season in the Championship with such great form and they won the playoffs, right, and got promoted, I thought they'd just have a decent mid-table finish season. Now, at least they stayed up this season, but it was by a pig's whisker, pretty much. And it was pretty much because Watford senselessly sacked Nigel Pearson, and Bournemouth just had a woeful season. That was pretty much why they stayed up, to be honest. But still, yeah. I mean, to be fair, I think pretty much everyone expected Villa to stay up, so that's not really a surprise there. But yeah, now we get to one of the howlers. Well, I say one of. There's another howler. Bournemouth, I had finishing 12th. I had them finishing 12th. Lads, they were about. They had about as much chance at getting 12th as I have romancing Ariana Grande. They were bad, right? And they get relegated. The Bournemouth fairy tale is over now, and yeah, they're going to be playing in the Championship next season. I mean, to be fair, I knew they were going to get relegated at one point. I'm kind of sad to see them go down because it was a great story, honestly. But yeah, as for if they'll get promoted again, we'll just see next season. Now, this is probably the worst. No, well, this is not the worst. Sheffield United was the worst prediction I made by far, but this one was probably the second worst. Watford, I had them finishing 11th, and they went and finished 19th and get relegated. Like, lads, okay, okay, so my logic for this, they finished 11th last season, right? With 50 points, and they made an FA Cup final. Of course, I predicted they were gonna carry on and finish another mid-table finish, right? But I mean, to be fair, right, they could have finished like 15th or 16th, obviously not 11th, but still. If they just didn't sack Nigel Pearson for no reason, then they would have stayed up. But no, they did this to themselves. They got relegated on the final day of the season. So there you go. Now we're through halfway, and I've completed the bottom half of the table, and I still haven't got a position right. This is just beyond a joke, and that just continues on with 10th place. I predicted West Ham. West Ham, I predicted to finish 10th, and Jesus Christ, they could have got themselves. They nearly got themselves relegated this season. I mean, they were bad this season. They were just bad. I mean, to be fair, right, they got good results in the season, like against they beat Chelsea twice, they beat Man United as well, and so they got good results, but it was just a horrific season. I thought they'd have a much more convincing season than this, and David Moyes is the manager. Oh, good Christ! Yeah. Next up, ninth I predicted would be Everton, and they finished 12th. I couldn't have predicted Carlo Ancelotti, a former Champions League winning manager, coming to Everton. That greatly confused me, and they just kind of had a poor season, I think, by their standards, and just another mid-table finish for them. 12th place for Everton. I said they finished ninth, so there we go. That's what 12 clubs in, still not got a position right. This is going very well. Next up, for 8th place, I predicted Brendan Rodgers' men Leicester City to finish 8th, and Jesus Christ, they could have finished as high as 3rd. Listen, right? I'm a Celtic fan, so I hate Brendan Rodgers as much as the next guy, right? But Jesus Christ, they could have easily finished 3rd this season. I mean, there was a point in the season where they were 2nd above Man City and 14 points clear of 5th. They eventually ended up finishing 5th because they bottled Champions League qualification, but still, they've got Europa League, and Jamie Vardy won the Golden Boot, so they had a stunning season, right? And yeah, if anything, I kind of hope they do well in Europa League, to be fair, because Leicester, they've always been like a feel-good club ever since. They've always been a very likeable club ever since they won the league a few years ago, so yeah. Again, but just another wrong score. I'm good at this. Next up, 7th, I predicted Wolves. Finally, a correct position. I finally predicted a right one. It only took me, what, 13, 14 attempts to get there. But, Jesus, I don't even, like, basically, right, my logic for this was, a lot of people, I'm probably the only person that predicted Wolves would back up their 7th place finish from last season. A lot of people thought Europa League would take its toll on Wolves. I didn't think so. I thought and Jesus Christ, the start of the season did not fill me with confidence with them, to be honest. They were about 12th in the league at one point. And yeah, it was just not looking good for them. But they turned it on, and yeah, 7th. I finally got a position right, lads. But we're going to go back to the stinkers in a second because I predicted Manchester United to finish 6th and they ended up 3rd. Oh, God. Basically, right, I just thought because they had a massive, like, collapse, top 4 collapse between April and May last year, I just thought they were just going to continue that and they would just be. I still thought they would get top 6, right? But I didn't think they'd get top 4. And how did you think I was feeling? Honestly, there was a point in the season where I thought I'd put them too high. They were like 12th, 14th at one point. They'd lost to Newcastle, Steve Bruce's Newcastle. They'd lost to West Ham, you know, Crystal Palace. They had a shocking start of the season, Manchester United. And yeah, I genuinely didn't think I had it in. I genuinely didn't think they had it in them to even get top 4. But they got 3rd place, to be fair to them. So yeah, and they'll probably win Europa League now. So there you go. So, next up, in 5th place, I predicted Chelsea. Now, I was like born into a Chelsea supporting family, so I kind of need to support them, right? And I genuinely didn't think Chelsea had it in them to get top 4 this season, purely because Frank Lampard's first season as manager, you know, as Chelsea. He's only his second full time season as a manager. His first at Chelsea, and yeah, the transfer ban. We lost Eden Hazard, the best player at Chelsea. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure everyone predicted that we'd finish around about 5th or 6th. And there were some people I even saw that didn't even think they'd. There were some people that were saying they'd finish comfortably 6th. Some were even saying they'd be outside the top 6. Well, they've gone and got Champions League, so fair play to them. And they've got an FA Cup final against Arsenal. So, and if they win that, then that's, silverware for Frank Lampard in his first season as Chelsea manager, which would just confirm that he's probably the greatest man to ever grace Chelsea Football Club. So there you go. Next up, we've got another howler here. I mean, I was very close with Chelsea, but this is another howler. Arsenal, I predicted them to finish 4th, and they finished 8th. And unless they win the FA Cup, they're not even getting European football. And I predicted them to get 4th and Champions League. So this just went. I don't even know what happened. I mean, they had an absolutely woeful start under Unai Emery. They sacked him. They got Mikel Arteta in. They got a few good results with him, right? Including beating Liverpool near the end of the season and knocking Man City out the FA Cup. But I mean, Jesus Christ, who predicted them to finish 8th in the league? It just, Arsenal Football Club 8th in the league. It doesn't even sound right. And compared to where they were like 15 years ago, I mean, if it wasn't for AFTV, it would actually be kind of sad to see where they are now. And also if it wasn't for the fact that my family support London rivals. So yeah, but I mean, they could still win a trophy this season. I mean, they've got the FA Cup final. They could still win a trophy this season, Arsenal, which it then all of a sudden wouldn't look as bad as it currently does. But still, it wasn't a great season for them. So yeah. Next up, 3rd, I predicted Spurs. Yeah, and this is the thing, right? You got to look back, right? This was a Tottenham side that had just made a Champions League final, right? And they might not have been that great in the final, but they made a Champions League final nonetheless, right? And there was huge, hype around Spurs and all that. And then they got off to a pretty dismal start of the season. And then sacked Poch! who'd have seen that coming? And then they brought in Jose bloody Mourinho of all people. And then, with the club lying 14th in the league table, he's getting them to 6th and Europa League football for next season. So, fair play to Jose, right? He's done quite a good job. And if he was there the full season, they could have got Champions League, who knows? So, but yeah, it's another wrong one. And usually in these predictions, you want to at least get the winners right. I couldn't even do that. I predicted Liverpool to finish second and Man City to win the league. And Manchester City ended up finishing second and Liverpool just stormed to the Premier League title. It's their first title in 30 years. And this is kind of what I expect Man City to do. Well, maybe not by that much, but, you know, my logic was for putting Liverpool in second. They weren't good enough to beat to Pep City last year, and Man City then went out and chucked another 60 million quid at players, right? And meanwhile, Liverpool just sold Daniel Sturridge and welcomed back Adam Lallana. So, yeah. And I didn't even think about Company leaving Man City, but then again, I didn't think it would make that much of an impact. They lost 9 league games this season. They lost more league games this season than Manchester United, who finished about 15 points below them in the league. So there you go. And I do think Man City could maybe if they don't win league, they'll certainly be a lot closer. Because I just feel like, and especially since they've got their Champions League ban overturned, I feel like their best players will want to stay at the club, although David Silva is leaving Man City. So yeah, that's just kind of my thinking there. And and so I think players like De Bruyne, Aguero, Sterling will still want to be at Man City because they're getting Champions League football next season still. But yeah, and then Liverpool. Jesus Christ, what a season they put together. They didn't drop points until the 9th game of the season. They didn't lose a game until February, right? And then they won the league, right? And okay, yeah, they kind of tailed off after that, but they'd already won the league at that point, so they genuinely had nothing to play for because they'd already won the title. So there you go. And yeah, I don't think anyone predicted Liverpool to storm the league. I mean, I can imagine people predicting Liverpool to win the league, but I imagine people predicted it to be close like last season. I didn't think anyone predicted Liverpool would just storm away with it this season. And they nearly got 100 points. If it wasn't for, if it wasn't for Arsenal beating them at the Emirates, they'd have got 100 points. But that's the end of the video, lads. I got one right out of 20. I get one. That it's not great, but I mean I've seen YouTubers get 0 right, so at least I got one in the end. So anyway, let me know in the comments below what your predictions were before the start of the season and how right or how wrong you were as well. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you maybe tomorrow when I might do some prediction reaction to the Scottish Premiership predictions. So I'll see you. I'll see you later. But for now, goodbye. Hold on, wait.